Welcome back. This Penguin Nugget is about Jinja templates. And I want you to know that the primary purpose for using Jinja templates is to automate the management of configuration files. So if you notice in this particular chapter, we have been using different Ansible modules for the purpose of managing files on remote hosts. We'll look at the copy module, the file module, the line in file, the block in file, and so on. And this time we're looking at a very specific type of files, and that's the configuration files. So if you want to manage, let's say, the configuration file for your secure shell server, for your HTTP server, for your very secure file transfer protocol, or something as simple as your host's file for name resolution, you can automate that using Jinja templates. And here's the example I have for you, right? And here's my location. It is highly recommended that you create a folder to store your Jinja templates. And I step into this folder, and I currently have one single template. It's called hosts.j2. And as indicative by the name, this is to manage the hosts file. This is a concatenate on this particular file. And you notice that it starts with the Ansible managed variable, which is also declared in my Ansible configuration file. I'll show you in a minute. I want you to pay close attention to the syntax of the Jinja templates, okay? So notice here that I'm using a loop statement. And notice that for and in for, we use single curly brackets, okay? For the remaining variables, we are using double curly brackets. So it's really, I know it takes a lot of getting used to, but I'm going to show you a trick that you can use when you take the Red Hat Certified Engineer exam, right? So in case you end up with a brain fog, you can help yourself, okay? And notice here that I'm utilizing a loop statement so I can loop over the managed hosts that are listed in my inventory file. And there is a group called DB servers. And I know I have two managed hosts in my DB servers group. Take a look and see how the syntax work. The hosts bars, right? That refers to the Ansible facts variables, right? And you can call on any of the data variables, such as the default IPv4 address, or the fully qualified domain name, or the host name, right? Remember, these are all Ansible facts. And remember, you can get the Ansible facts by running the setup module. Okay, I'll take you there in a minute. But for now, focus here and see that you have to start for each one of those Ansible facts. You have to start by host bars, square bracket for host. See, there are no single quotations here because it knows that it's item in the loop, okay? And then you start listing your Ansible facts. Ansible facts is a variable, right? Single quotes, and it's wrapped with square brackets. And then you're getting into the default IPv4 variable, and then the address variable, and you're pulling the data from those variables, okay? And notice that each one of these is specified as single quotes wrapped in square brackets, right? And then the entire Ansible facts, starting with host vars, it has to be wrapped around two curly brackets. Okay, so the components of the Ansible facts, each one is listed with single quotes wrapped in square brackets, and the variable in its entirety is wrapped in double square curly brackets, double curly brackets. So that's really the syntax, right? Now, how do you get help? Remember, when you take the certification exam, you will have access to the Ansible documentation. You will have access to docs.ansible.com, and we are working with Ansible Core. So you can click on Ansible Core, click on Ansible Core documentation. Let's say you want to refresh your memory about Ansible facts. You can type Ansible facts, right? First hit Ansible facts. It will take you there, right? It will give you, again, a refresher on the syntax for Ansible facts. It reminds you that if you want to see the pages and pages of variable facts that you can have, you can use one of the two ways. You can use the debug module and output the var Ansible underscore facts, or you can use an ad hoc command, right? Specify the managed server and use the setup module. And that's what I did here. So in this tab, I ran the command, the ad hoc command, right? And let me go up here, page up, right? I searched for fully qualified domain name, right? And it got me to, okay, here is the data of this variable at Ansible underscore FQDN, and the data stored inside this variable is Ansible1.example.local. So this is the data that is going to be pulled from this variable, right? If I want to look for, IPv4, for example, right? You can always press N for next, N for next, or you can press Shift N to go up. So I'm pressing Shift N to go up, right? And I find the information that I'm looking for, which is Ansible underscore default underscore IPv4, which is going to pull the IP address of this managed node, and I know it is 251 for sure. So you don't have to memorize that it's Ansible underscore default underscore IPv4 and then address, right? You can just look it up here, and then you can always use it in your template, just like we have here, Ansible default underscore IPv4 and then address. Okay, so now if you need help with, let's say you forget how to write loops in a Jinja template, no problem. You can come here to, there is a frequently asked questions. Let's take a look at it. Frequently asked questions. And if you go, this is a very important page actually. So let's say, where is questions about the Jinja templates? How do I loop over a list of hosts in a group inside the template? And if you take a look at it, it matches exactly what we have here in our Jinja template file. So percentage sign for host in groups, specify the group's name with single quotes, and wrap up with percentage sign and curly brackets. So if you ever forget this, right, remember that this documentation is available for you during the test. Now that I have my Jinja template, it is so easy to use it in a playbook. So this playbook has one single play, and the purpose of this play is to use Jinja templates to deploy the itsy hosts file to manage nodes. And I'm calling on the template module. The source is Remember, I created a directory to save my templates, my Jinja templates. And I'm saying, take this template and deploy it to /etc hosts on my managed servers. I ran the play using Ansible navigation run mode std out followed by my YAML file or the playbook. And because I ran this before to test my configuration, it did run successfully. Nothing failed or skipped or rescued, but nothing was changed because I had already deployed the config files. Let's see how things look at the managed servers. So here's the first managed server, and I can come here and say cat on its hosts, and I see a statement saying this configuration file, it is a configuration file that is used for name resolution, is managed by Ansible, and this information was deployed from my Ansible facts. So look how awesome that is. It went to the host, found out the default IP address, pulled the data from this variable, pulled the data from fully qualified domain name, pulled the data from host name, and populated these fields for me in such an elegant way that ensures consistency and protects against accidental typographical errors. Notice that if someone tried to edit this file, whatever they do to edit it, right, will be always overwritten by the Ansible playbook and the Jinja template. And this is really all you need to know about Jinja templates. Please practice with it. Try it on maybe a secure shell configuration file. And remember to be very comfortable with using the Ansible core documentations. Thank you for tuning in.